I think what we all want in life is to be that type of person who can talk with anyone, anywhere, at any time. Because when you meet these types of people in your life, they have this effortless sense of confidence about them, that they can just glide through the world and interact with anyone that they can see. And secretly, we all want to have that. We all want to feel that we can be confident within our social interactions because we're much more able to form good bonds with people. You can connect with anyone. You don't know what that connection can eventually lead to. You can get a job opportunity out of it. You might find a potential mate partner. You just effortlessly have a good social experience of life. And I think we all want that as human beings because we're social creatures. So today, I want to kind of give you a framework that you can begin to follow to improve your social communication skills with other people. And we'll start with the 4 C's. The first C that I would like to talk about is context. Whenever you're having a conversation with someone, there's always a context that it's happening in. As you can see today in Perth, Western Australia, it's a beautiful day. It's sunny, it's a little bit cold, but it's a beautiful day. When I walk outside, that's the context. So yeah, you can talk about the weather, or you can make a statement on, wow, this is a really beautiful day that we're having. And when you make those types of statements about the context, it gives you an easy entry into the conversation. And it doesn't just have to be about weather. You can have a look at what someone's wearing. They might be wearing really cool shoes, or they might be having a really nice outfit, or they might just have a really good personality about them, saying, like, you look very energetic today. So be observant of the context that you're having the conversation in, because it's always a good entry point to be able to get into the conversation. The next C that I want to talk about is curiosity. And I've mentioned about this in a previous video, but curiosity is the ultimate hack to sustain a conversation. Quite often when we engage in conversations with other people, we ask very dull questions, very closed-ended questions. And when you ask questions, how are you going, for example, it's very easy for the person to say good. It's very easy for the person to give a one-word answer, because what happens when they do that is that it doesn't prompt the conversation to keep going. And so when you're curious, when you have this curious mindset, you can begin to ask questions to dig a little bit deeper into their answers. So if I'm walking outside and I see a person and you're in, let's say we're talking about the weather and we've had that conversation, we've had the icebreaker, we came in, a curious question could be, do you work around here? What are you doing walking around here at the moment? And so when you're curious, you naturally want to find out more information about the person. And quite naturally, it opens them up to be able to share a little bit more about themselves. And once they do, you can then be curious about that as well and ask follow-up questions. And that is what really, I feel, keeps the conversation flowing. It shows that you're interested in the person, for one, and we all want to feel like someone's interested in what we have to say. As humans, we love to talk about ourselves whenever we get an opportunity, and I think that most people don't really get that opportunity to talk about themselves as much. And so when you can be a little bit curious about someone's perspective, or the way they move through the world, or why they chose to go into the job that they're currently in, people naturally want to talk a little bit more about that. Now, the next one, C, that I want to talk about is compassion. I think as a society, we lack a lot of compassion. I have noticed this more in myself working as a therapist, that everyone's going through shit. Life is very difficult. We have all these problems that are going on all at once. We've got issues at work, issues at home, issues maybe within your friend groups. Maybe you've got some health problems going on. We're all fighting secretly our own battles. And so if you can come into a communication or any social interaction with a sense of compassion for this other person, that this other person is actually going through something at the moment, and your job as a person is to get on their level, to empathize with them, to feel what they're feeling. Because that is the quickest way to be able to connect with someone a lot deeply. When someone can feel like they understand that, when someone can feel like that you understand how they're feeling, they're going to quite naturally drop their guards and they're going to actually begin to trust you a little bit more. And this is what we all secretly want. We want to feel seen, we want to feel heard, we want to feel like we're appreciated. And when you come into the conversation with a sense of compassion for this other person, to see them beyond their appearance, to see them beyond your perceived judgments that you have of them, and to just truly be compassionate towards this person, to truly care about what it is that they're saying and what it is that they're going through, they're going to naturally want to trust you and they're going to naturally want to open up to you a little bit more. And then the last C that I want to talk about is courage. Courage is something that's going to kind of transform your experiences with other people. And the reason being is that you have to give in order to get. And this law is true in all aspects of your life. Whether it is you're in business, you have to give a service first in order to get something back. When you give, you receive. And so the importance of that is that if you really want to develop a deeper connection with other people, you want to have good social bonds, you have to be willing to give something up first. And what that means is learning to be a little bit vulnerable, learning to share something about yourself. Don't go into a conversation thinking that they're going to be the ones sharing, because people won't. People are naturally quite guarded. They're quite skeptical about people. Naturally, and that's human nature. We are quite skeptical because we don't know what people's true intentions are. And so you have to have courage to first share things about yourself first. You have to have courage to actually openly go out and initiate conversations with people. Because if you don't, then you're not going to form these social bonds. You're not going to be able to connect with others. You have to have the courage to take the first step. And then it equates for everything in life. If you really want a great business, if you want a good body, if you want to start getting into shape, or you want to have more friends, you have to take the first step. You have to have courage. You have to be willing to look like an idiot. You have to be willing to get rejected potentially by someone. Because if you don't do that, you're never going to actually form those bonds that you desperately want. And I can tell you from experience that a life of not taking that first step and getting towards 60, 70 years old, and you realize that you didn't have the courage to take that step, and now you're in a situation where you don't have any relationships, you don't have any close friends, that is a far more painful experience than you putting yourself out there to actually start up a conversation. So I hope that helps. Try it out. Go speak with someone. Follow those 3 C's, which is context, curiosity, compassion, and courage. I'll see you all in the next one.